Hello and welcome to another episode of the Unwanted Opinions podcast. Jay and I are back on a Thursday, about 5 o'clock Eastern time. Going to talk to you guys about some of these most recent free agent signings. We talked a lot about them on Monday, but there's been a lot more big names that have signed with teams. Most notably, probably Tom Brady going to the Bucs. So we'll touch on that. Phillip Rivers going to the Colts, yada, yada, yada. We'll talk about those, talk about some of the guys that are still available, whether it's via trade or just now being cut or whatever, still on the free agent market. All that. Jay and I will break some of that down, give our thoughts, whatnot. As always, a huge shout out and thank you to our official sponsor, Tempest and Timberstone Homes. They are the largest and most reliable home builder in the greater Lafayette area. So if you're in the market for a starter home or a custom home, reach out to them. You can get in touch with them via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, one of their websites, visit one of their model homes. Give them a call if you are in the market for a starter or a custom home. Jay, how are you enjoying this quarantine, man?
We're not quarantined. We're still fucking going strong.
Well, I mean, for the most part, we're pretty quarantined. Well, I know people still go to work and
people or something may be coming down the pipeline.
Do all that.
Maybe we'll be quarantined to the house. I told you if that happens, I'm gonna be playing 2K for like 2 weeks.
That's a little different. If you're straight up, we're forced by the government to stay home. Like a lot of places are getting that way. We just here in Indiana haven't gotten to that point yet.
We're
but
still working.
I mean, school just got delayed until May. Some factories are shutting down.
All the bars and restaurants are closed.
Yeah. So just be safe out there. Yeah. Be careful.
Your hands.
Wash your hands. People
Carry
should do that
hand
anyways.
sanitizer. I know.
People should do all these things anyways. But yeah, exactly. Stay safe and stay quarantined, I guess. We're corona free here, so that's why Jay and I are in the same room doing this.
We are, but you know who's
Yes.
not. And that's a nice transition
Sean
right
Payton.
there. Sean Payton
Yeah.
just came across
Yes, he did.
as the first NFL case of the coronavirus, COVID-19. And selfishly, my very first thought was, this is going to fuck up my NFL season.
But luckily, they've got so long until I know everything's delayed indefinitely. But
My thing is, look what happened to the NBA, though. Like, all at first, it was just Rudy Gobert.
yeah,
And then his teammate Donovan Mitchell
as
had
soon
it.
as it was Rudy Gobert, NBA season suspended just like that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
immediately.
saying. But now, how many NBA players and personnel have been diagnosed with the
4
coronavirus?
Nets players, including Kevin Durant. I just got an alert today. 1 Nuggets personnel, not a player or a coach. I think it was somebody in their medical staff or
That's my point. It just went
something.
from 1 to 8 in a matter of
the Pistons player.
less than a week. So
Yeah.
now, how many NFL players are going to pop up
I
with
think a
it?
few Major League Baseball players have been diagnosed with it, or maybe
I thought they were minor league.
Maybe they are minor league. Okay, still professional athletes of some nature at least, but yeah, I mean, I'm guessing there's probably some other NFL guys we just haven't heard about them. They just maybe they just don't know that they have it. But I mean, it's just so far away. Like I said, they've delayed. I don't know if there's going to be any offseason training camp period. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be the rookie mini camp. Obviously, I mean, not a lot of the veterans go to OTAs anyways.
This is
but
true.
I mean, you still.
But
But
this
after
is the most-
OTAs, then
how
you
many-
got the next little camps.
How many
that
veteran
are
quarterbacks
mandatory.
have changed teams this year? And that's a big deal. When you change the
is.
team, you need those OTAs with all your new teammates.
Agreed. I mean, 2 guys I just let off the show with was Tom Brady going to the Bucs and Phillip Rivers going to the Colts. The only thing benefiting Phillip Rivers is that he knows the system in Indianapolis. He worked with Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni in San Diego when they were the San Diego Chargers, offensive coordinators, quarterback coach, whatever they were. And then Brady, he's going to a whole new team, whole new system.
You can only
everything.
do so much through a playbook and then texting back and forth with players and coaches. You need those reps on the field to build that familiarity with your teammates, especially at quarterback, which might be the hardest position in all of sports. So,
and I know, and that's as much as we hate on Tom Brady. I mean, he's one of the best preparation guys in NFL history. I mean, from what I never watched that Tom versus Time documentary because I just refused to. But I mean, that's basically what it was. It was him bragging about how good he was at watching film and shit like that.
I have no doubts he'll know the playbook.
I agree,
gets there.
but that gives him some sort of advantage, I guess. But then there's only so much
lingo
you can do in the film
you need
room.
to know.
Yep.
It's a brand new system and the players. He's working with weapons that he's never played with before. They're going to be playing at different speeds, have different catch radiuses, have different timing on their routes where they like to stop their breaks.
Just flat out different skill sets than any really receiver he's ever played with. I mean,
We haven't talked about Brady signing, have we?
No, he signed Wednesday
night?
night
After our show.
I think it was Tuesday night.
Let's talk about that.
That we are.
I know, but let's really talk about that because that's been a big topic.
I guess the fit, really,
Yes.
more of the fit. I mean, like I mentioned, the only guy he's really played anything similar to this is Randy Moss in 2007 and 2009 because he missed the whole of the 2008 season with that torn ACL. And other than that, I mean, I think I've said this so many times. I mean, he's never really attacked down the field consistently. These are what these two receivers do, and Godwin and Mike Evans, they're both really awesome, just really good receivers. But Chris Godwin's primarily out of the slot, but not the slot that Tom Brady's used to, like a Welker or an Edelman that only run 5-yard ins, outs, hitches, whatever, swing passes. They don't really have a running back who is like James White, Kevin Folk, Rex Burkhead, Danny Woodhead, whatever. I mean, a lot of guys that Brady's lived his whole entire career off of those receivers. So, yeah, the two receivers are fantastic, and O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate are also good players, but their offensive line isn't very good, and just the scheme.
I think the line might be better than they've been given credit for. I think they finished top 10 in pass protection last year.
Jameis was still sacked over 40 times last year.
I agree, and Jameis is a little more mobile than Tom. Jameis isn't mobile by any means, but he's definitely more mobile than Tom.
He's more mobile than Tom. And I just don't really like the fit.
I don't think the fit works at all. Bruce Arians has every season wanted to force the ball down the field. And if you watch last year might have been Tom's worst season of his whole career.
It was. He had like career lows in every category.
If you really watch, the way teams did it was they took away the middle of the field. They basically doubled Edelman and then made him throw the ball down the field. And he missed so many downfield
Did you know
throws.
He was only at 30% completion percentage against the blitz last year?
I did not. And usually he's probably in like
he's
the
best.
70% against the blitz on getting the ball out fast. So him throwing the ball downfield is not going to work. And I just think Arians is going to revert back to wanting to do what he's done his entire career.
He's done it for 20 years, and he's been successful at doing it.
So I don't know how they're going to go about or what they're going to do to make this system fit Brady. I haven't seen it as a fit the entire way.
The only thing that helps is he's obviously going to have less turnovers than Jameis. But
less turnovers.
But Jameis was a guy who always forced the ball down the field, and that's where a lot of his turnovers came from because he just didn't care. Tom's not like that.
No. And Mike Evans is an underneath receiver. Chris Godwin's a downfield threat. Like who is going to be that slot
They don't have
guy?
any quick twitch guy.
Edelman liked a tweet today. Did you see that?
He's not going there.
I don't know how they would get him there.
Either Belichick would have to cut him or they'd have to trade him, and I don't see.
And what
Belichick
are they going to give up
that.
for Edelman, who was not the same guy last year,
No.
old and would demand some money?
I think he's still a decent player, but I mean, I get you. Bill's not going to help out Tom.
No,
Bill's not going to help Tom in any way. They both have this thing where it's a rivalry now between those two guys. They want to see who's the first one, who's going to be more successful without the other. That's the whole thing. I know that it is. You'd be stupid and naive not to think that.
We've been on it forever.
I thought he was going because I just didn't see anywhere else for him. I thought he was going back just because I didn't see him wanting to go to Tampa Bay. It seems weird him in a brown Buccaneers jersey. Yeah. And he's finally got a tough schedule, something he's never had in 20 years. I mean, I listed off the teams they play this year.
You sent it to me.
Just the division they play. Saints twice, Panthers twice, Falcons twice.
Now, the Falcons have been down and the Panthers are rebuilding.
The Falcons were still 7-9 last year.
Actually, I don't even know if I could say the Panthers are rebuilding at this point. They went and got Teddy Bridgewater.
They got Teddy Bridgewater. And they've got the 6th or 7th overall pick.
They got Christian McCaffrey.
They've got weapons on offense. Their offense was good last year.
Why the fuck they traded Trey Turner for
Russell Okung? I don't really know because Okung's contract comes off sooner. But that defense, I mean, it can be rebuilt fairly. And they got Matt Rule at offense. I mean, I think they're going to be okay offensively.
And Joe Brady.
Defensively, they were like the 29th ranked rush defense, and Luke Kuechly retired, which hurts your run defense.
They lost Gerald McCoy too,
and they cut Eric Reed. So they've got a lot of rebuilding to do defensively, but I think offensively they'll be okay. They'll put up points. But yeah, so you play those three teams all twice. Then you got the Chargers, you got the Broncos in Denver, you got the Raiders, you got the Chiefs, you got the Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. I think the easiest game on their schedule is at the Giants. And I think the Giants will be a little bit improved. They'll still probably suck.
I love what you put on Twitter the other day that said, finally, Tom's division's becoming competent and good, and all of a sudden he bails.
He leaves because the AFC East, I mean, the Dolphins I've actually really liked what the Dolphins have done this offseason.
And clearly they're going to be better this year than they were last year.
And the Bills were in the playoffs. The Jets went 6-2 down the stretch with the healthy Sam Darnold. They've still got some work to do, but exactly, this is probably the best that division's going to be, and now Tom runs. Is that a coincidence?
No.
I think not.
Well, I mean,
but the Patriots are still going to be good.
I
mean,
agree.
you still got Bill. You still got that defense. I'm not worried about it. And I've actually heard today that they really like Jared Stidham.
Yeah.
And they want to go with him a quarter. That's just what I heard.
They can say all they want.
I know.
Stidham is not a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could still see it. I mean, there's still plenty of guys out there available to
I think
get.
the Panthers are about to cut
Jameis, Cam. I don't know. I mean, Andy Dalton.
He's available for trade.
But,
Jacoby
so
Brissett.
I just don't really. Jacoby Brissett. I mean, what have they won 7-9 last year? I think they could probably go 9-7 with Brady. Does he make you win 2 extra games? But I don't see him being a Super Bowl favorite or even a contender. I really don't. Their defense isn't good. Their defense finished.
Their defense
they were
is up
they were
and coming
30th in pass defense
because I believe in Todd Bowles as a
but I
coordinator.
don't believe in the talent that they have.
They don't have a lot
Exactly.
right now.
They have Devin White and Vita Vea. Shaq Barrett, if he can redo this magical season, who knows? I don't know. And then Jason Pierre-Paul, they re-signed him, but he's getting older. Levante David's an older player. Their secondary is awful. It's been the worst secondary in the league for years. And is it going to get that much better?
Probably not.
I'll be really impressed, and I'll have to eat my words if Tom Brady takes this team to the playoffs and they win the Super Bowl. Hell, I'd be really impressed if he even takes them to the playoffs. I really would. I just don't see it.
Yeah, because this is going to be the first time Tom Brady doesn't have his precious defense.
They were the number one defense last year.
For
the Patriots. That's why they won 12 games. It wasn't because of the offense. The offense sucked, and a lot of it had to do with Mr. Brady.
Scored almost as many touchdowns as Tom Brady.
They kept him in so many games.
I know.
He had such good starting average field position.
And special
He's not going to
teams.
get that from the Bucs this year. He's just not.
I don't like the fit, neither do you.
I don't either. I just don't know why. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a Bruce Arians type guy.
I thought the same thing. Usually he's wanting a big arm guy.
Yes, huge arm. I mean, I could have seen. We talked about Cam, and I just don't know about Cam's health. That's the only thing. Because I think when healthy, he's still probably a top 10 quarterback. That's a big if, though.
That is a big if. And
I mean, right now, they can't find a trade partner for him.
he's going to have to go somewhere to compete for a starting job and possibly be a backup at this point because it looks like everybody's quarterback situation.
Same thing with my guy, Jameis.
Is figured out. Yeah, oh my God. Still think he's going to get that 18
I don't know, man. I just don't know where I see him. But I'm okay. I also tweeted this too. There are not 32 quarterbacks better than Jameis Winston. I don't care. I think you hate on him, but you would agree with that, would you not?
I would.
There are not 32 starting quarterbacks better than Jameis Winston.
But what I'm saying is, even the teams that don't have their quarterback like that is the top 32 or maybe worse than Jameis, they have a plan.
I know.
Like the Dolphins, clearly
Yes.
they want a quarterback in the draft that they believe will be better.
The Broncos
than Jameis.
have Drew Lock. The Giants
the
have
Bengals are going to go
Jones.
get Joe Burrow. So
Yeah.
like they
The
have
Redskins.
who they're wanting in place, or they're going to go get them. So I don't think what's his nuts has a plan or has a team to be a starter on.
No, I don't think
Winston.
he does right now either. But that's just the thing. He's not the
I've been saying
33rd best quarterback in the league.
go back up Big Ben. There's a high
I
chance.
like that. You mentioned that to me.
He's
going to
be injured this year.
Else,
I mean, he's going to go into the season healthy, whatever. But there's a good chance he's older. He takes a lot of hits. He doesn't go down. Maybe he gets hurt again. Maybe you sit the entire year and Big Ben declines, and then you step in and be Big Ben's replacement. Because to me, he's like another Big Ben. They play the same style game.
Very similar.
Force that ball downfield. They take chances that they sometimes should not. Clearly, Big Ben is the better quarterback.
Yeah, obviously.
But in that system, they remind me of similar quarterbacks. So go back him up, learn some things from him, and then maybe be the eventual takeover. You're not getting paid starter money.
I just thought a team like the Bears, I think they're just taking a shot in the dark with Foles. I mean, that was another thing that happened.
The Bears are idiots.
I mean, Cam Newton's better than both those quarterbacks, and so is Jameis Winston. I'd even take Andy Dalton over any of those two guys, and Nick Foles and Trubisky. So the Bears, they could have had one of these guys for a lot cheaper than Nick Foles' $88 million contract.
And trading a fourth rounder.
And trading the fourth
Me
round
and
pick
you were
when they
talking
don't have much draft compensation.
Me and you were talking about teams that Jacksonville would have to give up a pick for somebody to
Yes.
take that contract, and yet
They got one.
The Bears went out and gave them a mid-round pick for Nick Foles. I don't know. I don't buy into
I didn't
that
like
at all.
that move for the Bears.
I guess they're going to create competition. Does he go there and be the automatic starter? Because all season long, off season, Mitch is our guy. We're not going to blah, blah, blah.
Nagy said it all over the
I know.
place.
I don't understand it.
But they had way better options than Nick Foles.
I agree. I'd have rather had Andy Dalton.
I would have too.
The Bengals would have took a 4th rounder, in my opinion, for Andy Dalton. He's a better quarterback.
He is a better
quarterback. Way
quarterback.
more accurate, smarter. He could have ran Nagy's system way better.
I agree. I think there's many options the Bears had that are a lot better. But, I mean, the Patriots are still looking for a quarterback. I just don't know who they're looking for. There's guys available.
I'm not sold that what's his name is their guy.
I'm not sold Jarrett Stidham's a guy either. I'm really not. I know that they're saying that all the right things, but
I mean, he was decent at Auburn.
Yeah.
And he looked like shit when he got playing time in the preseason to me. So who are you going to go with? I think they go with I honestly I'm sticking to I think they trade back for Brissett. A guy that they know that already knows the system. He's been with Bill and he only has 1 year left on his deal. He's the cheaper of Andy Dalton. He's going to be cheaper probably than Cam Newton. And I don't see Bill and Cam Newton being a match at all.
I don't either. Bill would hate Cam Newton.
Bill's not going after Jameis either, in my opinion.
I don't think so either. Jameis keeps his mouth shut, but just his turnover is just the fact that he turns the ball over.
So
way
the
too
quarterbacks
much.
out there that are up for grabs.
I think Andy Dalton makes the most sense for the Patriots.
I think it's down to Andy Dalton and Jacoby Brissett. And Brissett's the cheaper one, and he's already been in the system.
But I think they could probably – I think the Bengals will probably end up cutting Andy Dalton because they won't find a trade suitor for him. And I think the same thing with the Panthers and Cam. I think they're both going to get cut.
Panthers just came out and said they're probably going to cut Cam.
Yeah, I think both of them end up getting cut. It's just a matter of time.
So if that were the case, clearly I think Andy Dalton might be the better pick over Brissett because you wouldn't have to give up anything to get Dalton, and you can get him on a number probably closer to what you want over Brissett's $20 million or whatever it is.
And shit, the Chargers, too. I don't think Tyrod Taylor's that good. I think he's okay. He can win you a few games. But I think the Chargers, with some of the moves they made, they signed Brian Bulaga. They traded for Trey Turner. They signed Chris Harris. I mean, they have a win-now roster. It was just they need to,
that's why the Chargers are probably going to move up in the draft.
A short-term solution, they could do that, or they could stay at 6, draft a left tackle, build up that offensive line, and if by some miracle Cam Newton is still healthy and going to do it, or if you believe in Jameis Winston, who's still only 26, I'm giving you options. Andy Dalton, I think, is only 30 years old. The Chargers have a win-now roster.
They do.
If they rebuild that offensive line.
That's why I think they go get Cam.
I think that
I didn't think
quarterbacks is better than Tyrod Taylor.
I don't think Tyrod's that bad.
I don't think he's that bad.
He's just not going to go out and win them either.
Exactly. He's not a guy who's going to... They have 2 guys that are going to beat you down the field, and Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, and Tyrod Taylor doesn't really throw the ball past 15 yards.
Yeah, I would agree. But he has some more mobility over Rivers, and Rivers threw a ton of picks last year.
So it's not just some.
Well, you get what I'm saying. That offensive line, even though it is improved, he has better escapability than Rivers does to get away from some of the sacks that Rivers took. Mm-hmm. And Rivers forced some throws because he was not mobile enough to escape that line.
Absolutely.
That Tyrod might be able to find down the field. So I actually think Tyrod is better for them than Phillip was last year going for this upcoming season.
My point was I just think they have better options than Tyrod Taylor.
I don't know. Would you say in a win-now mode that Cam is a better option than Tyrod when Tyrod's healthy and knows the system already?
I don't know. That's just a really big unknown.
I think I'd rather go with Tyrod and draft somebody.
If Cam gets cut, I would sign Cam if I'm the Chargers. Act as he's my starter, and if he can't, then you do have Tyrod as a serviceable guy, and then when Cam gets back, he's still your guy.
Yeah, but then I feel like if you sign Cam, you're basically not going to draft a quarterback. And I think they're looking for their quarterback of the future and are in prime position to go get one this year.
They might be.
So I don't think that's going to happen. I think they are going to go in saying Tyrod's our guy, draft someone at 6, and maybe sit them. Or if they're just straight better than Tyrod when they get there, they're going to play the rookie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they need a quarterback as well, but I could also see them. They're never usually the smartest organization.
True.
When it comes to that type of stuff. And you know as well as I do, they're trying to sell some tickets and get some fans there. Cam's a flashy guy. LA is perfect for him. I think he would sell some tickets because he's exciting to go watch.
But you also know that the Chargers might be the cheapest organization in the league.
True. But Cam's made a lot of money over his career.
But Cam still believes he's the guy.
I know.
He's not going to say, hey, I'm worth $12 million.
And does he think he probably thinks he deserves more than Ryan Tannehill and Kirk Cousins, who just got over $30 million?
He probably does, but he's not getting
And to me, when healthy, Cam's better than both those guys. But again, it's a really, really big if.
And can you bank on that big if on a
That's
big
tough.
contract
It is. It's
when
tough.
he's this at 30 and taking the amount of hits that he's taken, and that his game depends on his running ability because he's never been the most accurate passer or the most.
True. I mean, he was. I mean, the year before he got hurt, I mean, he was completing 66% of his passes in that Norv Turner offense.
And I think a lot of them were underneath.
They were, but he shouldn't get criticized for that.
Agreed.
There's plenty of other quarterbacks who do it.
Agreed.
And I mean, they didn't see a lot of the flack that Cam got. I mean, they were 6-2 at one point, and then his shoulder took a shit on him.
But he's not going to have Christian McCaffrey there to dump the ball to every other.
He's got
down.
Austin Eckler.
He is not Christian McCaffrey, but I guess he might be
fucking
the
had like over 100 catches last
Yeah.
year. I mean, he's a damn good. He's basically a slot receiver and playing running back. So I just think the Chargers have options because I think they're in win now mode with the roster they have. We can talk about Phillip Rivers now because he just left the Chargers to go to the Colts. You're way more on board for it than I am. He's a statue. He's turnover prone and he's old. I just don't know how much he's got left.
I think he's got a couple years left, and so is he.
I know he does. He would think that forever, though, just the way he is.
But the Colts didn't do something dumb and give him like a 4-year deal.
No, the 1-year deal was perfect. It's really no
Prove
risk.
it. If you clearly show that you are aging and you just fell off that cliff after this year, you're gone. If you prove that you can play and you have the opportunity to take this team where they think they can go, then you're going to get re-signed. It's that simple. So now what do they do with Brissett? I think they have to trade him. They have to try and trade him.
Yeah, probably.
Because they would take I think it's like an $11 million cap hit if they cut him, but they'd be saving like $9-10 million if they end up getting rid of him.
I mean, they can always just keep him and his contract runs out after this year. I mean, that's worst case scenario. You just have 3 quarterbacks on the roster, which...
Yeah, but between those 3, they'd be paying like $50 million this year.
I know. But they're also going to be, like I said, 2 of them are off the books after next year, and the Colts have a lot of money left, and I don't know how much left they're going to spend in free agency because...
I don't know either. I still think they got to go after some sort of another wide receiver, some
or
sort
a
of
tight
pass
end.
catcher.
We think tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of hammered the whole thing down with Phillip Rivers and what we think, so
I
we
just
don't really have to
believe
get too much
he's gonna
into
have a
it.
resurgence.
Like I said, I think he's better than Brissett, but with the fact that and I love the Buckner trade for the 13th, but now they can't take a flyer on Jordan Love if that was a scenario they wanted to do and draft a young quarterback. Because at 34, I don't think there's anybody worth a damn to sit behind Phillip Rivers and for a young quarterback that way. I don't know.
As crazy as it seems with the amount of moves for quarterbacks that have been made, I don't think it's that crazy that Jordan Love could be sitting there at the end of the first round. And then
you say maybe the Colts go back into the first round and trade
they got
because
34 and 44.
I know. I do think he'll be there at the end of the first round because people will want that 5th year on that quarterback.
Well, what I'm saying is before, and I was on board with this, that like all these quarterbacks were going to go in the top 8 picks or 10 picks, but seeing where everybody's going and a lot of teams trying to win right now, they got their franchise quarterback that they believe in. There's only a select few teams needing quarterbacks. Miami, the Bengals, they're going to take Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Miami probably taking Tua.
Probably.
Chargers might try and move up to take Tua. If not, maybe Justin Herbert. So after those 3, what other teams are just desperate for the young quarterback?
Well, I mean, I actually heard this today too. At 14, the Buccaneers, unless if they're going to try and just get a stud and try and win now in the next year or 2 with Tom Brady at quarterback, or if they're thinking about their future as well, and they draft Jordan Love at 14.
I think Tom going there, one of his stipulations was like, don't be getting my backup right now. Go get me somebody to win right now.
Might have been.
And they probably signed off on that.
He's trying to get him to sign Antonio Brown, which I don't understand his infatuation with that dude.
I don't
know. No idea. I don't understand that at all. They've got two good receivers. They don't need Antonio Brown. They need
two good receivers and two good tight ends.
They need somebody. They need defensive players. That's what Tom doesn't understand.
And help on the offensive line. The fuck?
I know. I don't know why he's obsessed with Antonio Brown. It makes no sense.
Me either.
They seem like the most two opposite guys, personality-wise.
I don't think Bruce Arians just taking that.
No, he hated
back.
him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
it just came out today that he didn't enjoy coaching him in Pittsburgh. But there's a team that could do it. The Colts they were a clear team that needed a young quarterback. And like I said, I think that would have been awesome for a guy to sit behind Phillip Rivers because he's been in the league for 16 years and knows preparation and film study and leadership and what it takes. But I'm just not hanging my hat super high. Obviously, like I told you,
Jacksonville, they got a couple first-round picks.
I'm going to root for the Colts because they're my team and I want them to win. So I'm going to root for Phillip Rivers. I'm not going to go against him because I don't think it's going to work. But
what do you think about the Jarrell Casey trade for a 7th-round pick from
thought it was
Tennessee
awesome for
Denver? Yeah, for Denver,
I thought it was fantastic.
I'm scratching my head in Tennessee's case.
Don't understand why a 7th-round pick.
He's only 30. The dude's been producing one of the more underrated defensive tackles since he came to the league.
I like some of the moves Denver's making.
He can pass rush and run stop. He can do both.
He was good. And they also got A.J. Bouye for the 4th-round pick. I know he's not elite anymore, but he's still.
The dude had dead cap money left on his contract. He's still a good player.
They signed Connor McGovern at guard. The Broncos are going to be decent next year. We previewed them. We previewed that AFC West,
and we both had high hopes for them.
Yeah, I think they could win
if Drew Lock takes that next step.
Close to 10 games and push for the wild card, especially since there's one more spot open in the playoffs.
I think Denver's the second best team in that division.
Depending on what the Chargers do at quarterback.
Agreed.
Because if they bring in somebody good, better than Tyrod Taylor, I can see the Chargers being the second best team. But yeah, right now, as it stands, I think Denver's the second best team. And they got pick 11 right now.
Exactly.
They can do a lot at 11. A lot. Shit, they can add another receiver.
And I think that's
what they can add offensive line. They can add defensive line.
Help out your young quarterback.
Yeah. To get him another weapon like a Henry Ruggs.
Noah Fant
yeah. Henry Ruggs would be awesome
wants that ball.
in that offense.
Give you somebody small and quick next to a bigger Cortland Sutton.
Yes, absolutely. And you got Noah Fant, and you got 2 running backs. Denver's good. I like what John Elway's doing there.
Same.
Well, I mean,
I just couldn't imagine. I didn't know why Tennessee did that.
I didn't either. It really made no sense. I know they drafted Jeffrey Simmons last year in the first round, but
you know what I'm thinking maybe?
I think they're clearing some space to sign Derrick Henry.
I think they might be clearing some space to go after Clowney.
They just signed Vic Beasley to a 1-year, $10 million deal.
Yeah, get the fuck out of it.
I know Clowney's a way better player, but he's probably gonna. He hasn't got signed because he's looking for too much money, and maybe too many years because the guy has been injured quite a bit.
Yeah, he has. He's probably looking for that 5-year, 4 or 5 year.
I think he wants
$20
paid
million
like
a year, $21 million.
Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, because I think he thinks he's that player, which he's not. But he's a very good player. He's an elite pass rusher and a good edge guy. So
I keep seeing him going to the Giants, like linked to the Giants because they have Jets. I'm sorry, because they have the money to pay for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard the Giants were out on him, but I don't know that to be fact.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just asking for too much money is the thing. I think he's going to see that this market isn't where he thought it was because Dante Fowler, I liked that move from him going to the Atlanta, 3 years, $48 million.
They paid that dude.
That's $16 a year. That's probably what Jadeveon Clowney's going to get on the open market.
Which is nuts to me. I think Clowney's so much better than Fowler.
I agree, but I'm just saying I think that's what he's going to get.
That's what I'm saying. I think they overpaid Fowler.
Yeah, they probably did, but they needed pass rush so desperately in Atlanta because they had none.
For sure.
So would you rather have Dante Fowler at 16 or Vic Beasley at 10? I'd rather have Fowler at 16 because Beasley's been terrible since that 1 year.
If you're going to pay 16, I'd rather pay 18 for Clowney.
Yeah. I don't know.
So of those situations, that's what I'd rather do.
Well, that wasn't what I asked you.
Well, I answered.
Maybe they didn't want Clowney. They clearly didn't want him. He's played in that system before, Fowler has with Jacksonville, that he isn't going to in Atlanta. But,
who else was on the move?
Well, Todd Gurley just got cut.
Oh, yes. That happened right before we came on as well.
Todd Gurley got cut and Clay Matthews got cut. The Rams are in trouble. The Rams are getting worse by the day. They have no picks. They're trying to get all this money. They're trying to trade Brandon Cooks now.
I cannot believe they cut Todd Gurley.
They went from being in the Super Bowl, a favorite in the Super Bowl. They were favored over the Patriots 2 years ago in that Super Bowl. Lost and everything is going downhill for him since then.
So fast.
They were 9-7 last year, not terrible, but you traded away 2 first-round picks for a position you really didn't need in corner. You needed offensive line. You needed linebacker. You just lost Corey Littleton, too. You lost Michael Brockers. Who the fuck do the Rams even have left besides...
They have Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey,
and
Goff.
Brandon Cooks. Yeah, and Goff. Yeah. They got, like... I like Taylor Rapp at safety.
They still have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods.
Yeah, but Robert Woods is getting older, too.
Robert Woods still producing. Dude just had 1,000
I like
yards.
Tyler Higbee at tight end, actually. So, I mean, they've got some players, but they don't have
Defensively,
the
I think they're
stars.
going to be
Defensively, they have nothing. An offensive line, they just gave Andrew Whitworth a 3-year deal, and he's 30-8.
Yeah. Did you see
He wasn't that good last year.
signed the biggest contract for any non-quarterback over the age of 35 or something like that.
They gave him a lot of money.
And a lot of it was guaranteed, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I know they like him in the locker room and whatever, but I mean, he really wasn't that great
But
last
they
year.
took a $20 million dead cap hit to cut Gurley.
Wow. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was that bad.
It was like 20-point-something million dollars.
God.
Yep.
That's terrible. I didn't like
Just to save
I didn't like the contract when they gave it to him. It was way too much.
Just to save 10.
Good God, that's terrible.
Yeah. And on top of that, I don't know why everyone is...
Is that just this season?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why everyone makes it seem like Gurley didn't do anything last year. The dude still had like 800 and something rushing yards,
He just
over
wasn't
1,000
the same.
scrimmage yards, and 14 touchdowns. He wasn't the same because he didn't even have 300 touches. Now,
And-
maybe it's because he couldn't have taken on that workload, but every time he was in the game, it wasn't like he was like hobbling around or
agree.
then he went to the sideline and was icing up because his knee was just that jacked up. So I honestly think Gurley can still play, and I think Gurley, I'm trying to figure out where I think he's going to go. I think
He's just not the guy anymore that can carry the load.
Has that been proven, though? Just because the Rams
I think
didn't
it
let
did.
him do that.
Yeah. And like I said, I think their offensive line had a lot to do with it because it just flat out sucked.
It was bad.
It was one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year.
So I'm
not
not
saying
sold-
Todd's terrible. I just don't think he's...
And I'm not sold that he can't carry the load. He's still only 26 years old, I think. How about he goes to Tampa Bay with Tom?
Chill. I saw that a lot, too. It could happen.
I mean, why are you saying chill? It's not like it's fucking not going to happen.
Okay, are they going to spend all that money on a running back?
Well, how much will they have to spend? Gurley's still going to make 20-something million just from L.A.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he did have all that guaranteed money.
It's not like he's going to
Yeah.
be getting a contract.
Hell, just have him go to, I don't know, like Arizona or
Arizona likes
Seattle.
Kenyon Drake.
I'm just saying.
Seattle's got 2 running
just
backs.
stick it to the Rams. That's
No.
what I'm saying. These division teams.
That ain't going to happen. Why would he go?
What? How do you? Okay, you know for sure it's not going to happen.
Arizona is not going to pay Todd Gurley when they just let go of David Johnson because they figured out they can still produce heavily with Kenyon Drake,
Yeah.
who's a lot cheaper than Gurley.
You just said Gurley wasn't going to demand that much money.
Seattle has 2 backs already. I
That are
don't want
coming
to
off
say
a torn
wasted.
ACL and a broken hip.
Okay, and Gurley has injury problems too. So
Not
why would
that
they go
severe.
after another one?
Hey,
San
I'm just giving you
Francisco-
scenarios that kick fucking rocks for the Rams if he wants to stick it to him. Richard Sherman did the same thing.
I'm thinking-
many teams have done that where they just go inside the division to stick it to their old team.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be one of them. I'm
don't know,
thinking
man.
Tampa Bay, the Bills maybe bring him in for Josh
Yeah,
Allen.
maybe. There's teams that can use him 100%. I'm not saying that he's not going to be wanted.
And I don't think he's going to demand a huge contract. Maybe he goes back to Atlanta. He went and played college ball at Georgia.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes back to Atlanta. Definitely needs a running back.
Yeah. Well, they just cut it. I don't even know who they have on their roster anymore at running back.
Is
They
it
don't
Ito
have-
Smith?
Ito Smith, I think. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Atlanta's
I think
another
the Rams are just kind of in hell right now. They have no first round picks. They're losing. They're trying to trade all their good players and cut them. I mean, Clay Matthews had 8 sacks from last year. He was like their best pass rusher outside of Aaron Donald, and they just let him go. They let Dante Fowler go. They're going to have to give Jalen Ramsey a fucking boatload of money.
Clay Matthews probably going to
Because-
end up on the Ravens or the Patriots.
Because Darius Slay, he was another big acquisition from
the
the
Chiefs.
Lions to the Eagles. He just got paid 3 years, a $50 million extension, became the highest paid corner at 16.
What'd they give up for him?
Third and a fifth, which
Third
was
and
a
a fifth.
steal.
Yeah.
I know he's 29, but I mean the 3 years. I think he's still got 3 or 4 years,
Especially
left
on a
in him.
team where that's probably been your biggest need for the
Absolutely.
past how many
But
years?
we'll go to that one next. But my point on the Rams is they're going to have to give Jalen Ramsey at least 17, 18 million annually because he's going to want
Ramsey's they're going to have to give him 22 probably.
Whatever he asks for, he's going to
Clearly, he's still one of the top best corners in the
Yes.
league. He's young as shit, athletic as hell. They can't let him go because they just traded for him.
Yeah,
he's
so
one of their
that's what I'm
only
saying. The Rams are in a
studs left.
shithole right now.
Yeah, I think Rams going to get like 22 million a year, 23.
You still on this? You still thinking the Cardinals finish ahead of them? Is this supplanting it more? The Cardinals ahead in that division.
Yeah, the Rams are falling apart. The Rams are the NFC.
I'm glad I made that prediction about 2 weeks ago because now it seems like it's coming to fruition.
Yeah, the Rams are
already.
the NFC's version of the Texans. Just have better talent.
Do they? Much?
Yeah.
A few good players.
Yeah.
I would take Watson over him.
Okay, and then what
And
else?
then probably
The receiving
not.
core,
Maybe-
I'm going Rams. Offensive line, I'm going Rams.
I think the Texans' offensive line's better than the Rams. The Rams' offensive line sucks, man.
I don't think either one's good.
I don't
But
either.
I'm going. I'd probably take the Rams. Okay, call it a wash. Defensive line, I'll take the. Well, the Texans lost DJ Reader. All they have is J.J. Watt, and all the Rams have is Aaron Donald.
Primarily for Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Linebacking core, I would take the Texans because of McKinney and Cunningham. They're very similar.
And then DBs,
They could
I'd
both
take
be
the
going
Rams
for
because of
multiple
Jalen
playoff-
Ramsey.
They could be going multiple playoff appearances to go into both of them not making the playoffs this next few years.
Point
with
was they
high-paid
had
quarterbacks.
a couple years ago, both teams were in prime position, and both GMs are fucking everything up.
Screwed it over. Yeah. Anyways, I really like the deal for the Eagles acquiring Darius Slay because, like I said, they got him for 3rd and a 5th round pick, and they still have. I think the Eagles still have like 6 or 7 picks in this round. They got 1, 2, 3, 2 4s, 2 5s, I think. So, Eagles this was their biggest need. We
Who
talked
else
about
did they
this.
just get at D tackle?
Javon Hargrave.
Hargrave.
Another move I really liked.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good underrated signing for him. So the Eagles are just replenishing that defense, which was a problem for him, especially in the secondary.
Did just lose Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah, but his plays dipped mightily the past few years.
Still by far their best DB, and it wasn't close.
Well, not anymore.
I heard he was their the leader of that defense. He got everybody in position.
That's what they said they were going to miss more from what I was hearing, his leadership opposed to his play.
Yeah.
Is that what they were going to miss in the locker
his
room?
IQ
Yeah,
just on the
like you said,
defensive
because he
side.
got everybody ready. But I don't think they'll have a problem with leader. I think Fletcher Cox can step in and
yeah,
fill
but Fletcher
that role
Cox
defensively.
isn't yelling at everybody to get him
No,
in.
I'm not saying he's going to tell everybody where to go, but I'm just saying locker room mentally he can get everybody prepared. I think Fletcher Cox is prepared to do that. But this is something that helps the Eagles from day one. I mean, he's immediately their best corner.
I think the Eagles run away with that division next year.
I think they're the best team. They're, like I said, offensively, I like what they have offensively. Defensively, I like them even more now. And I saw
obviously
there were a lot of
address
rumors of them
receiver.
getting Yannick Ngakoue. I don't know how true that is, but that was something that was swirling around today because he tweeted a picture or put a picture on Instagram on a story of an eagle.
Why would they do that? They have Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett, and both are good defensive ends in the league. Because then you're about to. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, then you'd have to give a massive extension to Yannick Ngakoue and give
and
up
my
probably a
point
first or second round pick.
I think that messes up the locker room because you're saying, "Oh, this guy's better than the 2 we got. We're gonna pay him more than the 2 we already have, and then bring him in and just replace one of our guys." And now one of them becomes a backup. I don't know. I think that would be a problem that the Eagles don't really need.
I'm not saying that he's for sure going to go there, but I mean that absolutely makes him better, and he is better than both of those two guys.
I agree.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that was just something that was floated out. It was never anything official, and they apparently were no actually trade talks.
I think if the Eagles go draft a couple wide receivers,
just one, or maybe probably 2,
they're going to be solid next year.
Yeah, I mean they got 2 good tight ends.
As long as Wentz stays healthy.
Yes. Which he did for all year except for that dirty hit by Clowney in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it was a concussion. It wasn't anything back or knee or anything. But, yeah, I really like that move for the Eagles. I mean, I think I talked about the Dolphins. I think they've made actually some really smart moves.
I think you like them a little more than I do.
They may have overpaid for some guys, but, I mean, they've got a lot of money.
I'm not saying I don't like them. I just think you're, really on board with them, and I'm like, they were okay and kind of getting overhyped.
But, I mean, Flores maybe is going to be the smartest guy to ever leave Belichick, and if anybody can turn what he did in New England, Flores is probably the next best guy, I think, because they signed Byron Jones, probably overpaid him, but I think he's a good corner. He's a really good player. Then, as long as Xavier Howard's not in prison, you get 2 of the top 10 corners at least in the NFL. to man up, and then you got a lot of guys on your defensive line, linebackers, who are very versatile and get after the quarterback and just man up on the board like the Patriots have done for years.
I think,
and it makes that defense
Dolphins
a lot
fans
trickier for you.
Are gonna have too high of expectations for Van Noy.
Probably.
I think Van Noy is going to be one of those players like Jamie Collins who produce really, really well in that Patriots defense because of the other talent around him, and then he gets overpaid and becomes an average player.
It's possible. I mean, he really wasn't that good in Detroit, and he was only really good in New England, period.
That's what I'm saying.
And
they went out and got, who was the lineman?
Shaq Lawson. Are you talking about defensive lineman?
No, offensive lineman.
Ted Karras.
Yeah, like
at center. I mean,
who is he? Is he going to be some stud all of a sudden?
Probably not.
Agreed. Shaq Lawson, who he had a career
had his best year
with 6 sacks.
Yeah,
after being a first-round pick and all the hype in the world.
I didn't say they're becoming the best team of all time.
I'm just saying let's pump the brakes.
I just actually like what they're doing. I like some of the signings that they had. I mean, Flowers, I'm not sure how he played better at guard than he did at tackle ever, but I don't think you should be hanging your fin on that one. Like what I did there.
Fuck up. Here we go. He winked at me. Seems how you guys.
But they just got to nail the quarterback position. They do. I mean, they got 2 good receivers.
And running back.
Yeah, agreed.
They got fucking Jordan Howard, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not so sure.
Clearly better than the running backs on the roster right now. But
I'm just saying the Dolphins, I think, are going to be a lot more competitive this year. And they won 5 games?
Maybe
with
that's
maybe
somewhere
one of the
Gurley
worst
goes.
rosters.
What if they pay Gurley? They have plenty of money.
Yeah,
help out their young guy.
Melvin Gordon.
Jordan Howard's clearly been pretty good in the 2-back system when he's not just asked to be the only guy running the ball.
I think that division's actually going to be pretty competitive this year. I think the Jets are now the worst team in that division. I think the Bills
win that division by a couple games
over the Patriots now.
Fuck, I forgot the Patriots were there.
You just got to see what they do at quarterback.
We were talking Dolphins. I was thinking Dolphins, Bills, and.
But I think depending on what the Dolphins do at quarterback, shit. I mean, even maybe with Fitzpatrick for a few games.
I still think, they
might be better than the Jets. They might be the 3rd best team in that division.
I stick to my statement. I think depending who the Patriots get, but I think the Bills win that by a couple games.
I think the Bills are really good. I mean, the Bills got Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
that happened after our last pod. That was something the Bills did. And got a number 1 receiver for Josh Allen. A guy with a big catch radius.
Only problem, dude wasn't even happy in Minnesota where he had a good team around him, good coaching staff, better quarterback to me than Josh Allen.
I would agree.
And yet now he's going to go to Buffalo, which I'd rather be in Minnesota than Buffalo city-wise. Now you go there with the lesser.
I mean, it's not that far away from New York City.
Lesser quarterback. It's like fucking almost. It's like 2.5 hours, I think.
It's closer than fucking Minnesota to anywhere. Awesome.
I'd rather be downtown Minnesota than downtown Buffalo.
Yeah. That fan
Mall
base
of
there
America,
is awesome.
Nick. What if you want to shop with all your millions?
I'm sure he probably uses Amazon or all this shit online, I would assume, especially right now. But I like that move. You finally got somebody who's a true number 1 for Josh Allen. Hey, I don't know. Maybe he was just really unhappy in Minnesota. I don't know. Maybe he seemed to not get along really with anybody there on the team.
I'll really like the move if Stephon Diggs is happy in Buffalo because if he's happy, the dude can play. There's no question he can play. He's going to be the best receiver Josh Allen's ever had by far.
No question. Even probably high school, college, or pro.
So I'm on board as long as Stephon Diggs is happy.
And, I mean, the Vikings give up that. They get a first-round pick back. They get a few other late-round picks. I thought it was a pretty fair deal for both sides because the Vikings are a team that were strapped for cash and needed some more young talent.
I think this hurts Thielen.
I do too. I think Thielen's production goes way down, and it might hurt Kirk's production.
I'm actually surprised you agree with that because I know you really like Thielen.
I do too. I do, but
I really
having another receiver. I like Thielen, but I think
I think a lot of people would argue now Thielen gets to be the guy and he's going to see so many targets. My argument is
he's going to see a lot of double teams.
I think he really benefited off of Stephon Diggs because everyone knew who Stephon Diggs was and had to cover him. Now, who's their number 2? BB or whatever his name is, or
I don't even know his name. Chad Beebe.
Yeah, I don't know who their number 2 is.
I'm sure they're probably going to look
drafted
for
the
a
dude
receiver.
From Oregon last year that I kind of liked, but he didn't really play at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
I agree. I think it hurts Thielen's production. I do.
Which in turn hurts Kirk Cousins.
Absolutely.
I think the Vikings are not better off
anytime you got 2
Diggs.
really, really good receivers, which both of them are really good receivers. Like I said, I think Diggs is the better player. But, Yeah, I mean, anytime you got somebody on their side that can take pressure off, it makes it makes your job a lot easier. Who are some other ones? I mean, the Lions are trying to rebuild. The Patriots, there.
The Dolphins.
They signed Jamie Collins. They traded for Duron Harmon. They've already got Amendola, and
I'm off the Patricia bandwagon.
Yeah,
I was kind of on it last year, and I mean they were proving me right at the beginning, and then I said once they got fucked out of that Packer game, it was going to go downhill, and it did. And I jumped off.
Yeah, and then Stafford got hurt, so I mean, what were they 3-1-1, and then they lost that game, and then Stafford got hurt like 2 weeks later.
I think they had gotten screwed out of one of the other games too before that, when they were 3-1-1.
Yeah, I don't know who their one loss was to. But
Arizona, wasn't it?
No, that was their tie.
Okay.
I mean, Breeze re-upped with the Saints. Everyone knew that was going to happen.
What did you think about the Mariota going to Oakland?
No, I don't think it means anything.
Do you think he's going to be the starter? You think?
No.
I think he's going there
as
the backup. You don't think he's going to beat out Derek Carr?
But I don't think he'll beat out Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is the better player. I don't think Mariota's very good.
See, I think Mariota plays.
But I don't really think Derek Carr's that good. But
because I remember coming out,
they're a team
Mayock loved Mariota.
They're another team that I think they could use a Cam or a Jameis or Andy Dalton. Though. I know they can't pay all three of those guys. They can't do it. But they're a team that needs a quarterback because their quarterback position sucks.
Maybe they think it's Mariota.
Yeah. I mean, another one, I just saw that the Texans paid Randall Cobb all that money.
Yeah. Again, Texans are fucking idiots.
I mean, you tried to replace. I know Hopkins wanted a lot of money because it came out that he wants 18 to 20 million, which he's probably going to get because Amari got 20 million a year, which Amari is not a $20 million player to me. Michael Thomas, he got the same amount of money as Michael Thomas, and Michael Thomas is a million times better. But yeah, Gerald McCoy went to Dallas.
I saw that. So Dallas is just out here paying everybody besides Dak. What's that tell you?
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's any last minute or ones we didn't really talk about. The Bengals are actually kind of paying people. They paid Trey Waynes and B.J. Goodson. I think they did add him, but DJ Reader. They paid both of those guys. Oh, James Bradbury got paid by the Giants. He's like the third or fourth highest paid corner now in all of football. I didn't really like that move. I thought they overpaid for the guy. He's a good player, but he's not 14 million.
How much did he get a year?
I think it's 14. I think it's 14 and a half.
I don't know why everyone's against paying Clowney. Maybe they know something I don't.
15 a year. He got 3 years, 45 million.
Again, give Clowney 18 and fuck Bradbury. Upgrade your defensive line. They drafted Dexter Lawrence last year.
Where do you think Clowney goes? He's probably the biggest name left in the pool.
I don't know. The Jets, probably. Fuck, go to the
Dolphins,
dude.
You think he's going for the money grab?
I know everybody's linked to the Dolphins because they got the money, but I do think he's going for the money grab.
I don't think that's something. I don't think that's a guy Flores wants.
I agreed, but I think he's going for money grab.
But I don't see him there.
I'll just stick with the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets make a lot of sense. I'll say one of the New York teams, Jets or Giants.
But that Bradbury signing was trash.
Yeah, I didn't like that. He's not that good of a player.
I mean, I get it. Michael Thomas, Mike Evans, and Julio were all fantastic wide receivers, but he got torched last year by all of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're going to pay a corner top 3 money, you better be able to at least split 50-50 with those guys, not get torched every game.
Jason Witten is going to the Raiders.
Jesus Christ. That dude's just going to the Raiders for moral support.
Teaming up with the guy's job he took.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he is.
Joe Schobert actually got a lot of money from the Jaguars. 5 years, $54 million. A lot of money.
And I don't think he's that great. I know last year he had a hell of a year. I think he had 130 tackles, 4 or 5 picks, and some forced fumbles, TFLs. Yeah, I just don't see him being that guy after getting paid. Which inside Kirksey? We talked about the Packers.
I don't think I think Littleton happened after the Raiders signed him. I actually kind of like that move for the Raiders. They signed 2 good linebackers in Kwiatkowski and Littleton, which their linebacker play was atrocious.
Kwiatkowski, I wouldn't call
I said he was a good player.
He's okay.
I thought he was pretty good. I know he had a lot of talent around him in Denver.
Yeah.
Or Chicago. Well, shit. The Bears gave Robert Quinn a whole hell of a lot of money. 5 years, $70 million, and cut Leonard Floyd the next day, or in the next 5 minutes.
Wait, didn't the Rams get Leonard Floyd?
Yes, they did.
So they're trying to replace Fowler with Leonard Floyd.
Yeah. A little cheaper of an option.
But now he has to go from stand up to hand in the dirt.
Yeah, but I mean, Robert Quinn got a whole hell of a lot. I mean, he had a good year last year with Dallas, but he had 11.5 sacks, which is pretty good. But I thought they overpaid him a little bit.
Yeah, he's bounced around, and all of a sudden now he's going to be
they need to focus on
monster
quarterback, and they just took arguably the worst quarterback contract in all of football right now. Yeah. I think that about sums up all the moves, really, Jay.
We'll keep coming at him when more shit pops off.
Yeah. I mean, right now, I don't know who's, there's not that many, unless there's, some trades that haven't happened. But
Clowney's the big name. You got some other guys. You still got, Sue's on the market. You got Von Bell from the Saints because they just got Malcolm Jenkins. Trey Boston, another decent safety. Eric Reed's now on the market, who I thought played pretty damn well for the Panthers. He's just a nutcase.
Didn't he get re-signed by the Panthers?
They cut him.
Are you sure? I thought he re-signed with them.
Eric Reed?
Oh, I thought you said Trey Boston. My bad.
Trey Boston, I did say was a free agent unless he re-signed, and I didn't know about it.
I think he did. Yeah, he'd signed with the Panthers.
Okay.
But, okay.
Scratch that. He's no longer free agent.
There you go. Yeah, I think those are about all the big moves and whatnot. But, yeah, Jan and I will stay on top of all this. So, as always, subscribe to the Unwanted Opinions podcast where you get them. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. You can also check us out on YouTube. You can subscribe to us there if that's how you listen to podcast shows, whatever. We're on there. So, check us out. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Unwanted Opinions with Nick and Jay. Unwanted Opinions Podcast. Look us up. Google us. You can find us anywhere. We're on all these platforms. You can email us, unwantedopinionspodcast@gmail.com. Get in touch with us. Questions, comments, whatever. Leave us a rating. Leave us a review. Help Jay and I out. So,
we would love that.
Got anything else to add, man?
Nope. I'm going to go get Chipotle.
There you go. Stay safe.
Until next time.
Until next time.